What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about HBAR today, Hedera. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, okay? It is the 21st day of June today. Here we are with about a day and 7.5 hours left in this week here. 7.5 hours left in the day. 14 cents, point 0.3 is the price. If we're looking at this from a relative low to a relative high, we have broken through the golden ratio, and now we are at the 786 area, where a lot of cryptos have actually been finding support. So it's very possible that yesterday's lows are the lows. If not there, then I would anticipate at the most we'd go down to about 13.38 cents. If by some chance we go lower than the 886 here, 13.38 cents, if by some chance we go below there, I would expect something on the lines of a double bottom, right? Double bottom. Even if we go a little bit lower, whatever, double bottom at that 12.5 cent area. My expectation would be, though, that either this is the area that we find support, this is the area that we find support, or somewhere in between, right? We're either there or we're very near there. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, 15-minute time frame. We'll zoom out from there and see if we can deduce if this is the low and if we're recovering from here. I want to look at this on something with some volume. We'll use Coinbase, HBAR here. Looking at you, volume coming in as you're going down, but it is dying off as well. You got a little bit of volume on this move up, but not enough to convince me that you're ready to move up. Looking at the MACD, you've got a fresh cross, so I would assume that you continue to grow from here. Yes. Looking at the stochastics, you have bullish divergence, and on the RSI, you also have bullish divergence. You're in the right setup to move higher, but will you is the question, right? I think you will. Looking at the 15-minute stochastics, you do tend to get into that overbought zone after getting oversold. You don't really stop in the middle anywhere. So I would expect that you grow higher from here. If you do, let's just see what that would do from a relative. Is this the relative high? Is that the, yeah, that is the relative high. Let's take the relative high here to the relative low. Come on, come. Relative high to relative low here. I would expect that you do make a move up all the way to the golden ratio at about 14.7 to 14.8 cents, something like that. Yes, golden ratio zone, something like that. You'll fall back to the 0.5, find support there, maybe back to the 382, whatever, but something in this area, probably at the 0.5 where you have prior resistance. Yeah, so going into the end of the day, I bet you see a nice 14.7 to 14.8 cent. Then you move down to 14.6 cents, and then going into Sunday, you'll probably recover and continue to grow. I would expect by the end of this week, you'll be up higher. That's my expectation at the moment. Does it have to happen exactly like that in that exact amount of time? No, but looking at it here, I'm very inclined to believe that you do continue to grow. I don't think that you pull back from here. But again, if you do pull back, we went over those targets already, right? It's not that far away. It's nothing to be concerned about. If you go lower, who cares? It's really not a big deal. If you bought here and it goes lower than that low there, it's really not a big deal, guys. Is that the low too that we're talking about? Yeah, that is the low. Yeah, but I doubt that we even go below this low at this point, let alone that low. Okay. 1 hour time frame. Looking at it here, you do have bullish divergence on the stochastics. You do not have bullish divergence on the RSI, but you do have a double bottom, which is not the same thing, but it's nice to see nonetheless. Bullish divergence on the MACD, yeah. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Double bottom on the oversold zone ain't bad either. I would think that you do run up to this overbought zone. You'll probably continue, yeah, man. You'll probably continue to run. I really wouldn't be surprised if you're up at these highs or more by the end of the week, man. Up above 15 cents by the end of the week. You're at the 14.3 cents now. That's not a hard prediction to make. That's really not that bold of a call, but I think that's what you're going to do. Absolutely. Let's look at the 4 hour time frame. See if we can get some other ranges in here. Let's take that last low to high, kind of discernible low to high here. Low to high. Tipping the golden ratio. Love it, man. Love it. As we do this analysis, as it progresses, I'm just more and more convinced that we're not going to go lower, right? Like that's the low. And look at this, right? You can even see, depending on how this 4 hour interacts, you know, depending on what we do here, if I'm right on the 1 hour and the 15-minute interpretation and we move up from here, you've got volume, right? You got a lot of volume on this drop here, but you didn't really go anywhere, right? You wicked, but then you came back up. You're basically in the same area. Other than that wick, you're essentially still in this same area, okay? Here you are getting about average volume on a 4 hour basis on the Coinbase chart here on that last 4 hour candle, but still you haven't gone anywhere. You're not getting lower lows, right? You're building volume. You're not getting any, really you're not building volume compared to this. You're actually decaying in volume, but you're not going anywhere. I would expect that you do see a reversal. I think this is a sign of bearish weakness, right? Volume's dying off as you're going lower, and you're likely going to see some kind of reverberation back to the to the normal prices of about like 16 cents and beyond, right? Absolutely. If we're looking at this here from this golden ratio 1618, you probably make a move all the way up to this golden ratio here at about 16.6 cents, something like that. Just above this high to low here, boom. I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, maybe sometime early next week, Monday or Tuesday, you'll be up in this area. Maybe Wednesday, who knows? But going into next week, you should be bullish. I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the end of next week you were breaking out of this overall downtrend here. You were at prices that were even above 18 cents, man. Looking at the 4-hour, it's giving me some bullish optimism. That's for damn sure. I like the MACD. I don't mind the MACD. Yeah. You're at a point where you're about to cross red, but I don't think you're going to. I think that this 4-hour candle is going to come up victorious, and it'll promote growth in the MACD, which will likely promote growth in the price and continue. I think you're starting a new trend up here, man. You're getting lower lows in the price while building bullish momentum. That's very bullish, my friends. Bullish divergence on the MACD, on the stochastics, and on the RSI. You can't ask for any better situation, man. On the 4-hour time frame, the more we look at this, the more bullish it gets, okay? Absolutely. And then going with this idea, if we keep moving up here on the MACD, right, if we're moving up at this pace, more or less, it'll be Monday, Tuesday that we're crossing above the zero. I think that's, you guys, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Next week, it's going to be very exciting. I think it's going to be a very exciting time to be in HBAR. Daily time frame here. Hold on now. Wait a second. Okay, so see, I had this low. I had that low confused with this low. Okay, so I take it back. You could go below this low. I don't think you do. You could go below that low. I definitely don't believe that you go below this low, though, right? Right. I had it confused. I got a little, the short-term time frames got me all switched up there. We're at low points in the RSI, right? If we look at this right here, just where we are now, just understand on a daily time frame. If we come up by the end of the day, this RSI will come up more, but you're at areas where we typically don't go lower than this. Typically when you're in the RSI, you find support here, support in this area, support, maybe support here. You can go a little bit lower, but you find support in this area. And if you do go lower again, like I was saying originally whenever we started the video, it wouldn't be by too much. Like if you go lower from here, what are you going to do? From a low to a high, you're going to move up to about 13.37 cents. Who cares? It's not a big deal at all. You have 14.3 cents. You're going to move down a whole penny. That's nothing to get nightmares over. It's nothing to fear. If we're looking at the MACD here, MACD does look bullish. Bullish divergence there. Bullish divergence on your stochastics. Not so much on the RSI, but again, you're at an area that you'd expect to bounce, and I do think that you'll bounce. I like the way that this price action looks. What's great about this too, in my opinion, you've broken out of this downtrend already. You've broken out of this, however you want to draw it. I think that you've broken out of it. Here, let me just draw a straight line here. Right, you take the high, you come down. No matter how you draw it, you've broken out of it. You're back testing for support. Oh, that was not the right high. Let's get this high here. High here, coming down, right? Something like that. High here, down, coming down, finding resistance there, all this stuff. No matter how you cut it, you've definitely broken out of your downtrend. If you're cherry picking and you say you haven't broken out of your downtrend, what if you take that high to that high? Okay, but what about these highs? What about these highs? You know what? I mean, this short, it kind of fits, and maybe you're still in that trend in itself, but I would argue then you're just in a parallel channel to the down, or you're in some kind of downward sloping channel. I think that you have broken out of these first primary downward sloping trend lines. I think you have. You're back testing them for support now. And what's exciting about that, I almost got distracted. What's exciting about that is when you break out of this downtrend, you're only going to further separate from the downtrends that you've already broken out of. And I really think that getting above 18 cents, getting above this high here, right here, about 18 cents, getting, let's say 19 cents, getting back above there is going to be very, very bullish indeed. It's going to send you up to dramatically higher prices. And I think this party's going to start rocking coming into the end of the month of June here. And going into July, we should be seeing some dramatic growth. Absolutely. Looking at this from a high to a low. Again, if we go lower, what, 13.5 cents, 13.3 cents at the lowest, nothing crazy. Nothing too crazy at all. If we're looking at this from a high to a low, my expectation would be that HBAR does run all the way up, you guys, all the way up to about $1.12, $1.30 at a minimum, 1886200 area. This is an area that a lot of cryptos have been finding target areas at and significance at as support, as resistance, whatever. if we don't stop there, my expectation would be that we go up to about $1.80, something like that, to $2. And we've run the numbers enough times to know that this is a very considerable area to top off. However, I don't think that we get above there. I don't think that we see prices above $2. These are price targets that I'm anticipating by the end of July, right? So something between about like $1.15, let's say, to $1.70, $1.90, so just below $2, not quite at $2. At the highest, just above $1, just above like $1.20, probably even at the lowest. Something in this range, though. That's what I would anticipate for HBAR. If we delete all this, all the white lines and stuff, all the noise, leave the fibs up there, we get this bull flag measure move from a low to a high here. You put this at the base of your flag, which I don't believe you'll break. I think you found your low. Takes you right up to that minimum target. Bull flag measurements, measure moves themselves are just ideas. You can fall short of those ideas. Maybe you stop here. I highly doubt that you stop at anything below $1 personally, but sure, maybe. Even at your most bearish case scenario, if you were to stop at below $1, where are you going to stop? You're going to stop at like 82 cents. That's a 5.6x. That's outperforming the average coin in the market. So even in your worst case scenario, you're going to outperform the average coin as expected, as intended, if I could talk without stumbling on my words. Likely you will stop somewhere around like a 7 to an 8.6, like 7.5x to an 8.5x move from the current price, something in that area. And at the most, I would think something just below $2, right? Maybe you go just barely above $1.77, but something that's, I really wouldn't be surprised if HBAR saw something greater than like an 11x move from the current price of 14.25 cents. I don't have anything else that I want to say, though. I've said everything that I need to say. If you guys like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Absolutely, I believe HBAR has higher prospects than even those prices that we talked about. If you want to know what the all-time highs are, pay me. No, from a high to a low, let's see, high to low here. You guys follow those guys on YouTube, man. You follow them for a time until you find someone who's like, look, this information isn't worth you paying me for because I could be wrong, right? There's people that they're like, I'll tell you where my all-time high is, but pay me. It's like, your all-time high is not a guarantee. My money, my payment's a guarantee. Are you going to guarantee me that the price is going to go here? No, I don't care how many waves of the wand you give this thing, magical TA you do. I really hope that I don't think that I'm going to be the driving force behind this, but I want to be a part of this force of new YouTubers in crypto who are not charging you for guessing. That's like the space is rampant with these dudes who are just ripping you off for things that are not guarantees or promises. I had one guy say Bitcoin's not going to go above 100K. He's got like 50,000. He had 50. I don't know how many subscribers he has now. I'm not going to give him a shout out because I'm not trying to start wars here. But man, he was saying that Bitcoin would never go above 100K, not in 2025 or 2024. But it happened. It happened, and he's and he has people that pay him to tell them things that he's predicting that might be true, might not be true, right? That's the whole point. It's like, how can you ask somebody for money? If you're doing well in this market, first off, why do you need other people's money? Secondly, though, why charge somebody money, and lots of money at that? These guys are charging like hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars for their courses or their classes or to be in their groups. And it's all just fabricated stuff. We're just guessing. It's just highly sophisticated guessing. And some people a little bit less sophisticated than others. But man, I'm getting on a whole different point here. That was all from a joke that I said, where I was like, if you want to know the high, pay me. That was a joke, because why would you pay me for a guess? Pay me for something concrete, right? Let that be a lesson too. If you're out there paying for guesses, just, man, it better be concrete. I don't pay for the chance of getting a bagel when I go to the bagel shop. I pay for a bagel. Give me a bagel. I want my bagel. This bagel is probably, at a minimum, going to $3.15 by the end of the cycle. I doubt that you stop there, though. You've been a top performer, so you're going to go to the next levels at least. We're looking at a 45 to a 63x. Can HBAR see a 100x, dude? That would be nuts. Can it? Is it possible? Let's see. HBAR 6 billion. A 100x would put you at $600 billion. I mean, that'd be a 130. What's 30? Be 780. That's almost an $800 billion market cap. I'm not saying it's impossible. I just doubt it. I doubt that you see an $800 billion market cap, but at the highest short, $20 maybe. I think you'll stop somewhere just below $10. That makes a lot of sense to me. Outperform the average crypto. You'll stop in your 1886200 area. Kind of an unorthodox area to stop from a high to low, cycle high to cycle low. Most cryptos hit the 1618 or the 2272. Again, don't count on the fact that you'll break above 315. Count on the fact that you'll at least get there. But I would think, man, this thing's been outperforming the markets. I would have the average coin's probably going to do like a 25 to 30x. I don't think you're going to underperform from here to the end of the cycle. So that the only logical thing, if this is too much and this is too little, you find that sweet spot right in the middle, like Goldilocks here. This is just right. 662, $9, probably $9, right? And then you'll get it in everybody's heads. We're going to $10, psychological resistance right there, right? And we'll just never see it. That's kind of how it happens. Maybe in the next cycle you'll see it. But I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.